Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, CAP Social Network, also known as Capri Social Network. So there, over the past few months, have been viral videos floating around on social media, courtesy of a lady who goes by the handle Miss Calcium Cannons 98, a black lady, and who she happens to be well-rounded, by the way, folks. What I mean by that is full figure, and uses that to her advantage by going out to public places and breastfeeding her kids. Now, the more logical thing, if you're a woman who breastfeeds your kid in public, will be whenever you pull whichever breast out, to use a blanket to cover your breasts while breastfeeding. And the more classier thing, but this lady on the other hand does it, and this is how I look at it, this is my personal opinion, perspective. She looks at it from the perspective of being able to get clout, not only clout on social media, but I look at her as a straight up whore. With that being said, I'm going to show this clip of her doing an interview on behalf of how she's been receiving lots of backlash on behalf of her breastfeeding in public in one of the most inappropriate and classless ways. By the way, folks, this clip happens to be 6 minutes long, no longer than 6 minutes. So after the clip, I'll plan on giving some more of my feedback.
The second half of the Factor Uncensored, my next guest has been attracting a lot of attention for an already controversial subject, public breastfeeding. Now, Miss Calcium Cannons has been bold about her stance on the matter. She's gone viral after posting videos of herself breastfeeding her baby in the public. She's received some backlash for it, but that hasn't stopped her at all. She joins us in studio now with her son, Preston, who's just as famous as she is, and her husband, Donald Newsom. So when you first started breastfeeding on social media, in public is one thing, but on social media, were you surprised at some of the backlash that you received?
I think so, yeah, because people don't really say anything in person. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to have an issue with it, but on social media, it gives them a little bit of confidence to speak up.
And for you as a husband, seeing what your wife is going through and the attack saying she's going too far, what is that like for you?
I mean, I've been raised to mind my business, you know what I mean? So,
but you've got to feel something for your wife because you know she's reading all of those negative comments.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, what I don't understand is how people don't understand the normalizing of breastfeeding. I mean, it's just breastfeeding. It's not like it's something that's sexual or anything of that nature.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it seems like they're trying to stand on a platform of sexualization. And I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Feed my son. You know what I mean?
So, Preston, what do you have to say? No comment.
He's like, as long as I'm full.
and Ms. Cannons, and let's just be blunt here. Do you think because you are bigger than the average woman that we see in the press, in the public rather, breastfeeding, that you cause more of an uproar?
Definitely, yeah. I think if I had a flat chest, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, for sure. I don't think that people would even take notice.
And how does that leave you feeling, thinking, or realizing the public wouldn't have so much to say if you were in the itty bitty titty committee?
I've dealt with it for quite a few years, so I guess I'm just used to it. You know,
But you have to feel something because you put yourself out there around the world, not just in Texas, not just in the United States, around the world. And you have every damn body saying something about you.
Yeah, I think if anything, I try to focus on my supporters and the people who are behind me and who understand what I'm doing. And I focus on him. I mean, he's my main concern. As long as he's healthy, that's my goal.
Any tough nights at all for you reading some of those comments?
Oh, like
though?
for sure, yeah. I mean, I've had my moments, but there's been very few of them. And then when I have that moment, I just remind myself of my purpose and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and get back to who I am.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about not publicly breastfeeding?
I've thought about maybe not posting, but never not feeding him in public. No.
And I've seen some of your TikToks and some of the songs you pick. And last week we had some people, a whole panel here.
Right.
And looking at some of those videos, I said, well, it feels like she's sexualizing it.
I use the sounds that are with the trends and, the For You page. I just try to do that to get the views, not to necessarily say the song is what I'm doing in the video.
Okay. And so is this your only child?
My first child, so I always wanted to breastfeed.
Okay.
I did, yeah. So
and there is Preston there. and Mr. Newsom, when you see what your wife is going through and the reaction that how do you comfort her? How do you keep her head up and strong through all of this?
I mean, I just tell her don't, fall victim to the online bullying. Because, that's basically all it is. They never say anything in public. We don't ever have a problem when we out. We can be in Walmart or whatever, and if he's hungry, she feeds him. Nobody comes to us and says, hey, stop that, or,
just focusing on reality. Like in real life, is it that big of an issue? And it's not.
And I've seen some of the videos. Do you think at some point maybe you crossed the line? Because I've seen you almost like with no shirt on when you breastfeed.
Actually, no. I think it was just the angle of those videos because people keep saying that I was topless and I wasn't.
Maybe it was just too low.
Yeah, maybe just
from our
the cleavage.
It was too low.
Okay, yeah. Maybe the cleavage from the other side was visible, but yeah, I've never been completely topless to feed him.
But this is something for those women who are afraid of the public and afraid of the backlash, what would you tell them who, if they want to breastfeed out in public and they're afraid of public and what they will say, what would you tell them to keep them going strong and to continue what they're doing as a mother?
Right.
Mother, something that is very natural, breastfeeding their child.
Exactly, yeah. First off, just remember that your child is your first priority and doing what makes you comfortable. So if you're more comfortable using a cover, then that's up to you. If you're comfortable being uncovered, as I would be, no matter what your size is, whether you're small-chested or big-chested like me, it shouldn't matter as long as your baby's being fed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you guys for coming on The Factor.
Thank you.
And as she said, it was just the angle of the shirt. So I take that back.
I was not topless.
Was not completely off.
It was.
We want to thank you guys for coming to us here on The Factor Uncensored and sharing your story and talking about it and maybe giving some other women strength out there.
Yes, thank you. That's my main goal.
Absolutely. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored here on The Factor. And there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, after hearing the interview and giving her feedback on how she thought that it wasn't exposing herself, which it clearly was, although the video that you saw in the clip was blurred out, that's a sign, an obvious sign right there, and a red flag that she was exposing herself on purpose. And I'll tell you why. And then, to make matters even worse, claimed that she wasn't topless. And it's obvious she was just wearing a halter top with no bra on it at all, due to how she's trying to flaunt her full figure body. And not only that, but I feel sorry for the brother who's supposed to be her husband, which is somebody who I consider a damn fool to be able to tolerate a woman going in public revealing herself in that kind of manner, in such a classless, trashy manner on all levels. He's a complete idiot and a fool for putting up with that. And I also wanted to mention, folks, how she's on all kinds of porn sites as well, porn sites and apps, One of them being OnlyFans, and she has so many followers on OnlyFans. She's also on Pornhub as well. X, formerly known as Twitter, revealing herself in some of the most nastiest, provocative, and explicit ways for a mother. And this just goes to show you that black women also, even when they are mothers, refuse to still carry themselves in such a classy manner. They also like to still carry themselves as whores as well. Whores, the careless, trashy, filthy, slutty whores. And this is exactly what this lady is. She's also a piece of crap and a poor excuse. I do mean a poor excuse in all caps for a mother as well. Because no mother with respect for herself or her kid should go out in public exposing herself in the kind of manner she is always exposing herself. And to make matters even worse, should not be able to should not feel, or I'm trying to say, let me rephrase that, should feel remorse for posting herself on social media apps, both social media apps and some of the most X-rated, explicit apps in such a trashy manner that she does. Because there are even videos of her on X-rated apps showing her breasts and showing people how much milk she could be able to let out of her breast, or how much she could be able to lactate. It's also clips of her playing with herself, masturbating with sex toys as well. One of them happens to be, as a matter of fact, her in a public park masturbating with a sex toy. I am not lying about this. And for the most part, I also feel like her kid should be taken from her, should be taken into custody by CPS, by Child Protective Services, due to her being such a trashy, slutty, poor excuse, piece of crap mother. Anyway, I'm not going to keep on dragging this video because I already have said a mouthful and have proved my point. But before I end the video, make sure you guys, like always, like the video, you share it, you comment on it, last but not least, you subscribe to the channel. And when you do subscribe to the channel, click that subscribe button. Make sure you pick to get notified of all my upcoming videos and content. Until next time, and without further ado, goodbye, guys.